Hey, Pastor, do you know how church growth really happens? It happens from the inside out. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. So think about how many people worship with your church on an average Sunday. Okay, you got the number? So let's just imagine that was 150 people. I will bet you a flannel graph that about 30 people in your congregation are pulling about 80% of the weight from making your weekend worship services happen. Now you probably know this, that's the Pareto principle, that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts or 20% of your people. Now here's the bad news. It is always going to be that way. You're always going to have a minority of people doing the majority of the work. You're never going to have 50, 60, 70% of the people in your church that are fully engaged in what you're doing with your church. Now here's the good news. If you double your volunteers from 30 to 60, over time, you're not going to lose those other 30 volunteers. What will happen is your church will begin to morph and it wants to get back to that 20%. So instead of losing volunteers, you'll actually gain members. Now, if you think about this for a second, it makes perfect sense, because if you're going to build any organization, you want to build it on a rock. You want to build it on a foundation. And in organizations and churches, that foundation is systems. And systems drive behaviors. And if you're going to grow your church from the inside out, you've got to start with the systems inside of your church. If you added twice as many people next Sunday, chances are over time, all of those people would move out because your church doesn't have the structure that's ready for those people. That's why it makes perfect sense to build the systems to drive volunteers into volunteer positions. Now you may be thinking, well, we've already got all our volunteer positions full, or I can't get people involved, those kind of things. You have to go back and rethink those systems. Now that's just a small portion of what we're going to be talking about in the training today, called the 6 Unbreakable Laws of Church Growth. Now here's the thing, you've done the hard work, you signed up, now it's time to show up. And let me promise you one thing, Pastor, something is going to come up between now and the time that you register to be with us. And I just want to tell you this, pray about it and make sure that whatever comes up is not more important than you taking an hour to be with Jerry and I working on your church instead of all the work that you're doing in your church. Okay? Everything you need to know about the training is in the email that you click through to get to this video. Go ahead and check that out. Thanks for signing up, Pastor, and I'll see you in just a bit.